community, this is Tommy and welcome to another musical adventure. In today's adventure, I want to talk about the great Sir Paul McCartney. Now, before we get started, I'm going to go ahead and give the little disclaimer. Like, subscribe, comment, all those things. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so. Comment down below. I do try to respond to each comment. If you take time to comment, I do try to respond to you guys, and I appreciate you watching and being a part of what's going on here. Now, here is one of the things that I want to talk about in this video. It's something that's kind of been stewing for a couple of weeks, kind of in my mind. I want to talk about Paul McCartney songs that should be bigger hits. Now, what I mean by that these are songs that the casual fan probably doesn't know. I'm not talking about the die-hard McCartney people that know every cut of every album. I'm talking about people that just kind of know what's played on the radio. They're familiar with those songs. I'm talking about the Live and Let Dies and the My Loves and those kinds of songs that were massive hits. Now, McCartney had a lot of hits since he left the Beatles, and he racked up quite a few, and probably a lot of songs that maybe would have been hits by anyone else probably just kind of got swept aside. They're not songs that he plays in concert regularly. There's no reason for casual fans to really know these songs. And so these are the songs that I want to talk about. But they're songs that I love, and I think they're songs that could have been hits. And that's kind of the premise of what I'm talking about here. Songs that could have been hits by Paul McCartney. So I hope you're following kind of what I mean by it. I'm not trying to get called out by, clearly this song, blah, blah, blah. And one of the kind of guideposts I used was the compilation Wingspan, which was a double disc set kind of covering the 70s and early 80s for McCartney. And songs, now some of these were on Wingspan. There were two discs. The first one was called Hits. The second disc was called History. Some of these songs are on the History disc, so I know they've been recognized. But they've not really been songs that McCartney has kind of explored any further. They don't get mentioned a lot. You know what I'm going for. Let's get to the songs. I've got about 12 of them here I want to run through and talk about. And I want to start with the Ram album, a McCartney favorite. Of course, this album has the massive hit on it, Uncle Albert, Admiral Halsey, which is a very well-known McCartney song. Gets played on the radio quite a bit. But one of the songs I want to single out from this album is Backseat of My Car. Again, that's one of those songs, like, when I hear that song, I think, why isn't this song being played on classic rock radio, like, every day? It's one of those that's just like, man, what a great rock song. So you see where I'm going with the list here. Now, another one, this is one that some of you have gotten and have been showing, the recently reissued Wildlife, the half-speed mastering. I got mine too and love it, think it's great. I think personally Wildlife is one of the great underrated McCartney records. And one of the things about this record to me, and the reason why I think it doesn't get the recognition that it deserves, is that it doesn't have any big major McCartney hits. There's no songs on here. If you're a casual fan and you were flipping through the McCartney section, you'd look at the back cover of this and look at the song list and go, I don't know any of these songs. However, I want to point out the song Tomorrow. I think Tomorrow is a fantastic song. I think given proper airplay, that song would have been a huge hit song in its own right. Another one I want to kind of talk about from this album, and there's a few that I like from this, is Some People Never Know. I think that's a fun song, and again, it's catchy. It's got all the trademarks of what a good hit single would be, but Tomorrow and Some People Never Know off of that album. We're kind of going in chronological order. Now, one of the things about this, I kind of going from the classic McCartney era. I'm not going to go through his whole career, so before you shut the video off and go, oh my gosh, I'm not going to sit here and listen to Tommy ramble on for 40 minutes about every McCartney record. We're gonna cut it off in the mid-'80s. So let's just go ahead and get that out of the way. I should have said that earlier before I even got started. Red Rose Speedway, the next album, there's a couple of songs. Of course, My Love was the big hit off of this album that everyone knows. And I know that McCartney was doing singles separately from albums, and a little more on that in a little bit. But when I hear Get on the Right Thing from this album, I think to myself, man, what a great rocking song. And it sounds like it's just dripping with commercial flavor. It rocks. It's got a great melody. It's got a good hook. It's a fun song to crank up. Get on the Right Thing from Red Rose Speedway. Now the next one, and I don't have the single to show you, and some of you are going to like roll your eyes at this. It's the B-side to the Mull of Kintyre single, which Mull of Kintyre, one of the biggest selling singles of all time, particularly in England. But the B-side was a song called Girls' School, and that song just rocks and rolls. I love Girls' School, and I can't help but think when I hear that song, like, oh my gosh, what a great McCartney rocker. It's fun, it's got energy, you can sing along with it. It's just packed with goodness. I absolutely love it. But Girls' School, the B-side of Mull of Kintyre. I didn't pick anything off of Venus of Mars, Band on the Run. I feel like those albums have gotten their due. I mean, you could say something like 1985 maybe, but he has played that in concert in recent years. And so we're going to fast forward all the way to London Town. Now, this is not an album I particularly like or enjoy, not one of my favorite McCartney albums, but I will say that I've had enough. The closing song of side one on London Town. It's a fun rocker, a pretty cool song. Another single around this time, or B-side, I believe, which is a song to me that I think is one of the great McCartney songs, Daytime, Nighttime Suffering. I know that's shown up like on Wingspan or whatever, but it's one of those songs that you don't ever hear it like with the McCartney stuff. Now, those of you who know and have followed me for a while know that I've had struggles with Back to the Egg as an album. But there's a couple of tracks on here that I think are just hit worthy. The first one is Arrow Through Me. Yes, I know it was a single and it was a hit. And those of you who watched the Benji movie back in the early 80s, they know Arrow Through Me. But to me, Arrow Through Me, it's funky. It's just it's a cool song. And I don't hear it. I don't hear it on the radio. Now, I know my friend Sean down in New Orleans. Hi, Sean. He says his local radio station plays it, but I think the DJ there is a big McCartney fan, and so he's slipping in some of these tracks. I'm not sure, but Arrow Through Me is not a song that I would have heard if I had not listened to this album and picked it up. It's not even on Wingspan, so there you go. A song that's kind of been ignored. Another, to me, single-worthy song from Back to the Egg is Getting Closer. And there's a few on here that I think are great, but Getting Closer is just catchy fun. There's nothing on McCartney 2, anything on that. This I kind of struggle with. I know Tug of War is a favorite McCartney record. It's a favorite of mine. And of course, it's got some songs like Take It Away and Ballroom Dancing that were kind of hits. But I want to single out Wanderlust. I just think it's one of the great McCartney ballads. I think had McCartney not written songs like Maybe I'm Amazed or even My Love, Wanderlust would rank up there. It's just well done. It's a beautiful melody. It's got a great vocal. So Wanderlust from Tug of War. Give My Regards to Broad Street. Yeah, I know. It's an album that probably shouldn't exist. It's a whole project that shouldn't exist. But this album, buried on this album, is a song called Not Such a Bad Boy. And I think that that's a cool rockin' number. And I think it's definitely was by anyone else would be considered a single or worthy to be a single. And finally, the last one I want to talk about, and it's an album that another one that's kind of people are very mixed about, have hard feelings about. Press to Play. This album, at least as far as I remember, I mean, I was alive during this time. I don't remember it being played on the radio, anything like that. I know Press was a single. But one of the songs, and also probably a single, but really wasn't a hit, Only Love Remains, another great McCartney ballad. If there's any strike against Only Love Remains, it may be that it kind of rambles a little bit. It doesn't have that big giant hook on it, but I think it's a nice song. I think it's a pretty song. I think it's got a great melody. Again, I keep saying that, great melody, great hook, but those are the hallmarks of a great hit single. None of those songs that I mentioned, to me, were great, big, giant, huge hit singles. You don't hear McCartney do them in concert. I don't know that he's ever played some of these in concert. but why not? I mean, they're cool songs, and they deserve to be heard. So if you don't know those songs, go check them out because I think they're great. If you've got some suggestions, comment down below. Let me know what you think. I'm not like an authority on these things. I'm just giving you my taste on what I think are what should have been McCartney hit singles. And so, go ahead and roast me if you want to in the comments, like however you want to do it. Thanks for coming along. In the meantime, I'll see you next time. Rowdy, I'm trying to make a video.